All right, all right. I'm back. I'm back, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this post that I saw earlier today. SF investigates with regards to Hannah Kobayashi. This kind of story that's been odd, to say the least. Went missing, California, LAX, multiple sightings of her, and in the middle of the search, her father unalived himself, went to a parking lot garage, and jumped. Really, really just weird. I had a couple of details, a lot of things been just kind of weird to me about the story. And so now somebody actually mentioned this in my morning stream, and I didn't know what they were talking about. SF Investigates said this, and a podcast just dropped, so we're going to listen to the podcast. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. My voice is gone. So we're going to read this post. We're going to go over the podcast. I'm also hoping that we get an update on the United Healthcare shooter. Like, I mean, that's just... I've been looking at posts. I've been seeing what people had to say about that. I've been looking into it. I've been kind of saving a few things. But I'm hoping police will give us some type of another official update, or this person will be caught. Really, really weird. So, all right, let's go over this. So Hannah Kobayashi is married. When I saw that, the first thing, I'm like, what? She's married? As is her ex-boyfriend. And here's why I'm disclosing this information. Hannah's family and now legal counsel has repeatedly criticized the LAPD, claiming that they're dissatisfied with the investigation into her situation. Time and again, they have spoken about an African-American man who is allegedly controlling and drugging Hannah, clearly implying that he's involved. And I thought it was weird that they didn't put out that video. And if you didn't know, they retain legal counsel now. It says, however, as of November 16, the family is fully aware that both Hannah and her ex-boyfriend are involved in green card marriages for profit, allegedly. They even suspected that the ex-boyfriend is responsible for scamming Hannah out of her money and contributing to her behavior. Hence, maybe those text messages that she sent. Despite this, the family, specifically her sister, aunt, and father, continue to publicly emphasize how cooperative the ex-boyfriend has been and create fear of an African-American male seen with Hannah, which wouldn't provide proof of the surveillance image. I always thought that was so weird. Okay, she's with somebody and you guys are concerned and all this stuff. Why not post a still image or a video or something of the person that she's with? It is likely that the LAPD is already aware of this green card scheme and has determined that it's not a priority. If green cards have not been issued, there is no crime. Even if they had been issued, this is relatively a common crime and likely wouldn't be prosecuted. The real issue is that the family has misrepresented the situation while utilizing public resources, private donations, and public pleas for help. They have not been honest about the circumstances, even though they have been made aware of them all along. I have repeatedly stated that this should be handled privately with the involvement of an investigator and a medical professional to evaluate Hannah. Instead, today they announced that they are seeking additional funds to expand the investigation and search into Mexico. So, I mean, the thing is, like, I understand. I'm trying to put myself, maybe, if I could, in the family's shoes. Like, I still want to search for her. I want to know where she's at. But the other problem with that is she is an adult. And if she wants to leave, she can. And we don't know if there was any family problems, what was going on in the home. The father was estranged. I can't for the life of me get over this guy doing what he did. It just feels like there's more to it. I don't know what, you know. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys have heard, this is not her first time disappearing. She's done it before. That's what's being said. She's disappeared before. So, and again, like I've said, there's multiple streams. Not to say that something can't happen. Sometimes people go, disappear, wander the streets, and then horrible things happen, you know? But people were pretty upset about the donation thing. Some people were asking for their money back, you know, but I guess they want to continue into Mexico. I reluctantly felt compelled to release this information due to their continued public pleas for donations, even though I did not want to do so. I hope no further details will be shared. Those with insider knowledge are aware of where Hannah likely is. Wow. I hope the U.S. consulate will check her welfare, after which this case should be closed. Hannah appears to have been hurt and betrayed by someone she trusted. Other family dynamics may also have played a part here. However, this is a private matter and should not be treated as a public search funded by the public nor dumped in the LAPD's laps to clean up after. And so then not only that, he goes and posts screenshot conversations. This cannot be released, but this is our confirmation and lead. So I think that Amun, which is the ex-boyfriend, the guy Hannah married, and the girl Amun married for money. How many times can you be married? So I think the Amun, the guy Hannah married, and the girl Amun married for money are all on this together and extorted her for trafficking. Bro. Oh my. So it's been a mess. Let me pull up this is a new podcast that just dropped. And by the way, that's Sydney is her sister. That's family. Yeah, people have disappeared going on family trips. Or going to explore Mexico.
Think scaling AI is hard?
Going to find themselves.
Think again. With Watson X, you can do more than
with Nespresso.
At LAX, dump modern life, imploding her family, and ends up in Tijuana. As we go to air tonight, that video allegedly showing her in Tijuana is brought into question.
Wow.
Is that her? Has she been misidentified? Yeah. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories.
That is something that came up.
Thank you for being with us.
As the family is aware, late yesterday, after traveling to the U.S.-Mexico border, we reviewed video surveillance from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which clearly shows Kobayashi crossing the United States border on foot into Mexico. She was alone with her luggage and appeared unharmed. At this time, Kobayashi's case has been classified as a voluntary missing person.
A voluntary missing person case. After all this, and we are learning at this hour that there is a motive for her alleged voluntary disappearance. And that motive is, and I want to get this wording exactly right, that she wanted to, quote, step away from modern connections.
Wow.
Couldn't she just unplug her cell phone? We all know where the off button is. How about that? Why do you have to lead us all on a merry wild goose chase, spending tens of thousands of dollars of resources to find her? If, in fact, that video purporting to be her 145 miles away from LA in Tijuana is correct.
That's why I said the other day, I was like hesitant because I don't know, who knows what she's going through, whatever. But I titled it entitled Brat. But at the same time, I don't know what she's been through in her life. But I just can't imagine the amount of resources being used. Her father offed himself. Now this massive search, I guess, that they want to go into Mexico. You know. And now this alleged marriage green card thing or whatever.
The calls for the release of that video are mounting at this hour. But you know what?
You know what's even wilder? So Carly, because I'm reading your message, the part of Mexico she's in is supposedly nice. A gated community filled with expats. It's a surf community. You know what I heard? I heard that people were sending money to her Venmo and being like, hey, have fun. Have fun in Mexico. I'm like, bro, have a good time. Hey, spend this on whatever you want. Shit, I need to go missing too. No, just kidding. I don't want to go missing, but I couldn't believe when I saw that.
Let's start at the beginning. Listen.
Pictures show Hannah Kobayashi arriving in a black hoodie with colorful sweatpants while wearing a pair of headphones as she walks through LAX. Her ex-boyfriend makes it to the connecting flight to JFK in New York, but Hannah does not. There isn't a lot of time between landing from Hawaii and catching the connecting flight to JFK, just over 60 minutes, and some believe she simply missed the connecting flight and will take the next available flight on Saturday. Her suitcase is on the plane to JFK.
No,
That is where it all started. Let's try to figure out. Let's dissect what we know. And this, Greg Morse, wouldn't you agree with me? You're a high-profile lawyer out of Palm Beach and author of The Untested on Amazon. Greg, before you can mount any case, before we can say tonight what we think happened, we have to analyze all the evidence. Now, we're basing our analysis on what we've been told. And I, like the family and like a former FBI'er,
That could be Mary. I don't know. Yeah, that could be.
see that video too. The video that the LAPD is not releasing. Normally, I don't support spying on a private individual. But in this case, I think the family needs their minds and hearts at rest that she has really been spotted in Tijuana. That said, Gregory Morse, you have to look at not only her frame of mind, but you have to look at her actions.
She has a major life change that seems to be happening, whether it's related to this cult, whether it's related to her wanting to, quote unquote, disconnect from modern society, which, by the way, is generally, since the beginning of time, what cult leaders tell people. It doesn't matter what era we're in. It could be the 1800s. Cult leaders then gave some excuse as to why the people they're trying to get to follow them should, quote unquote, disconnect with regular society, and why it's better to do that. And also, just on a point, there is no privacy at the border. The Constitution doesn't apply at the border. The government can do checks. The surveillance video, you're out in the public. So they should really have that video made available to the public so people can look and the family can determine if it's credible.
The family starts to get worried.
And the GoFundMe that I'm looking at right now, it's at 47,600. Some people are saying they want their money back. You know, some people have no problem. I gave it for this cause, whatever. Some people are upset about it. You know, I guess the family disagrees with the LAPD.
When they get odd texts from Hannah. Now, the reason I'm bringing these up is because it gives me an insight into her frame of mind. Because if this woman is in Mexico, doesn't speak Spanish, has nothing but her suitcase, no money, no anything, in a bad frame of mind. I mean, I write in my book, Don't Be a Victim, because of the crime rates in Mexico. Just don't go there. So if an ordinary person can end up being a crime target in Mexico,
They have two GoFundMes?
what about a woman on her own that doesn't know anybody, doesn't speak the language, and all she's got is a suitcase full of clothes? What's happening to this woman if, in fact, that is her in Tijuana? Now, this is where the family really gets worried. Listen.
Hannah Kobayashi's family is concerned about odd text messages from Hannah because the messages don't sound like her. The messages use terms like hun and babe. The messages also don't include any emojis, something everyone knows to expect from a text message coming from Hannah Kobayashi.
Kobayashi sends messages to a friend saying she doesn't feel safe and someone's trying to steal her identity and money. Deep hackers wiped my identity, stole all of my funds, and had me on a mind F since Friday. I got tricked pretty much into giving away all my funds, followed by, for someone I thought I loved.
Did this woman simply...
Is that true, Kelly Sniper? Yeah, because some people were saying there's like two GoFundMes. But when I'm doing a Google search, hold on, okay, there's another one here, maybe. There's another one. Oh, that was for the dad. I didn't know they had one for the dad, too. So the dad's one got disabled. It had $8,285. Dad, okay. And then one for her, 47.6. Okay. I wonder what the previous situation was with like her running away. Or whatever happened with that you know.
Step away from modern connectivity? Again, why not just turn your phone off? Is she in her right mind? Is that even her in Tijuana? Okay, Dr. Jeff Kalashevsky is joining me, forensic psychologist and author of Dark Sides. You can find him on YouTube, Dr. Jeff Kalashevsky, forensic psychologist. Dr. Jeff, thank you for being with us. Do you hear these texts? No wonder the family's beside themselves, claiming that her identity has been taken, her money has been hacked, someone seems to be controlling her, her texts don't sound like her, and we all have a clear pattern as to how we speak, how we text, how we think, how we act. We may not want to believe we're creatures of habit, but we are. So does that tell you that something is not right in her mindset?
Right. We've talked about this on this program before. Kind of the first step in investigating situations like this is that people have routines and people have patterns. And if people are doing things outside of their normal routines or behaviors that they normally exhibit, you start to question.
Right.
A couple of things here, you know. Some of these odd texts, like you had mentioned, Nancy, what was her frame of mind, particularly going through life change? But the other part, there seems to be, she's keeping some kind of secret. I don't know if it's a relationship, if it's a contact, but she's doing things outside of the ordinary and seems to be holding a secret. And does that lead to another person who's involved that we don't know about yet?
Kalashevsky, a secret? Don't care. I don't care if she's got a secret. That is not relevant. What is relevant, Dr. Jeff,
you never know if it
is
is,
she
though.
in her right mind? And even more so, why won't LAPD release that video? You just heard Gregory Morse as a vet.
Yeah, Angel, I don't think she was taken either. I didn't think that from the beginning as well, you know. And I mean, you see her pictures. I mean, there was even one, she said she got her ID was stripped and everything, but there's a picture of her with her passport. You know, multiple sightings. And I guess one guy they're saying they threw under the bus, a black guy that threw his ass under the bus, I guess. I thought it was weird they wouldn't release this dude that they said was on video. But SF says that like he's not related to this whole situation.
Veteran trial lawyers state there is no right of privacy, no U.S. constitutional right of privacy once you cross that border. Joining me, Alexis Tereszchuk, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Alexis, all along, LAPD has been saying it's a voluntary disappearance. She's chosen to leave, a voluntary disappearance. They knew this piece of the puzzle that we didn't know. Listen.
While she did check her bag through to New York, she requested her bag be sent to her at LAX, where we have surveillance footage of her retrieving it from the baggage carousel on November 11th. LAPD Missing Persons Unit has conducted extensive witness interviews, reviewed video surveillance, and collaborated with local and federal law enforcement agencies on this case.
That from our friends at KITV Island News. Hey, Alexis, for those people that have not been in LAX, it's a madhouse, all right, especially when it's under construction.
Yeah, LAX, I'm surprised how trashy that airport is. I've only been there twice. I'm like, damn, this is like a raggedy ass airport. So I don't even think it was air conditioned. I guess they were going through construction. I think this shit was hot as I thought it was like a Dominican Republic getting out of the plane and shit. What is this? Okay, but there's somebody here too, and on Facebook that was saying they don't think she was extorted or trafficked. They believe she went through the marriage, didn't realize she didn't want to be part of it, and fled in hopes of an annulment. She'll see the truth. Man. I don't know, bro. What a mess.
Terminal 3, I think. Oh, you have to walk down long underground tunnels at LAX that are constructed of cement. There's no phone reception down there. There's a really long walk. It's a very confusing airport to a lot of people that have been there many, many times. So Many people understood, yeah, she got twisted around and missed her flight. But this piece of the puzzle, Alexis, the police knew that her bag had already gone on to JFK, but then somehow she had the wherewithal to demand it come back to her. And she actually had her bag rerouted back to her, and police saw the video of her getting that bag off the baggage carousel. That's very probative.
It is, and it's a decision she made. She contacted the airline. She said, I need my bags back here. You know, she was supposed to go on to New York.
Right.
She did not. She missed the flight. And so she had them bring the bags back to LA.
And that was a big topic of conversation too. She asked for her bags back. That was a whole big thing. Like, oh, well, if you're, you have a standby thing, you're not supposed to access your bags, but she asked for them back, I guess. Bag.
Had not been at the airport this whole time. She wasn't camped out at the airport like that movie. She had left the airport. She'd gone to the Grove twice. She had apparently met with people to do tarot card readings because she was paying for that via her Venmo. She was taking public transportation. She was seen around town. She even sent her own aunt a picture of her at the Grove. But she goes back to LAX and she gets her luggage. And that is where they have the video of her. So with this is different from her arriving the first day in LAX. She gets off the plane. It was a 1-hour window. She did not get on that flight. Right. 3 days later, she gets her luggage back again.
Oh,
That's her
okay. That's the one part I know. So it was 3 days later she got her luggage back. Okay.
Originally, between flights. And then when she got her bag off the carousel, Alexis, you're telling me she had on something different?
She did. So she, in that picture, she has on those really colorful pants. She doesn't have that on when she's back the next time. So she has clothes there, or she's in the Grove. She could have bought new clothes. But it was a different outfit. This is her arrival.
Yeah, that's the thing of like, I mean, bro, to have all these people like out here searching and all this stuff, and it seemed obviously it's very intentional. I mean, what else is there? It's intentional. And somebody's dead that's related to this whole situation, the father. It's just wild to me. It's crazy. It does. I don't know if it's another Carly Russell. It almost seems like that. But the thing is, I wonder too now if she sees what happened to her father, and she's even more in her head thinking like, damn, there's no way I'm going back now. Like, damn, like the supposed marriage license scam thing or profit first marriage. And then to find out, which is a really sad but very odd situation, your father did this to himself, So maybe you're really thinking like, oh shit, like there's no way I'm coming back now.
Create.
Holiday party does.
Don't delay.
Looking for excitement?
Nancy Grace. Have you ever tried to retrieve a bag that has been misdirected, much less at LAX? I mean, you can practically not do it at the Macon, Georgia International Airport, where there's one terminal, much less at LAX, for Pete's sake. The bag was already gone. She had the wherewithal, the mindset, the understanding to retrieve the bag, probably gets notice that the bag had made its way back. She comes back to the airport, gets the bag. Why is that probative? Because it shows me it's her decision not to go on to New York. Right there, that says it all. And LAPD kept saying, this is voluntary, this is voluntary. She chose for her bag not to go to New York. She chose to come back and get it and leave. But the family, in their hurt and confusion, didn't believe it. And I don't blame them. If somebody told me my husband went missing in LAX, there's no way. If an angel flew down, Angel Gabriel, let's go with him, and said, David has gone voluntarily missing. He wants to disconnect from modern connectivity. I would say, BS, you're a liar. You can go straight to hell and out of heaven. I wouldn't believe it. That's where the family was at that point. They wouldn't believe it.
I totally agree. I mean, you've got that pattern of constantly talking to family members, being on social media, and then all of a sudden you're going to go and, disconnect yourself in the middle of a flight and jump off the train, so to speak. It just doesn't make sense in my mind. And there's a lot of things that, even though I somewhat agree with the LAPD's assessment on voluntary because of the, getting the bag back from JFK so she can now have clothes. A lot of different things seem to be voluntary, her movement around LA. But then there's those texts, the weird texts where, someone's stealing my identity.
Yeah, they're very
stolen my money.
concerning, Scott Eicher. Steve Fisher has been on this. He's a missing persons private investigator, search and rescue specialist, and owner of Search Investigations. Steve, you've been working on this and investigating it yourself. What do you make of it? To me, that's the big tell, that she got her bag back and left.
This is very much, it was planned. I know a lot about this case, and there's a lot that the family has not disclosed. She was estranged from multiple members of her family. This was definitely planned. She recalled her bags.
So multiple members.
Listen, it's her in Mexico. I've worked with Greyhound to obtain verification of her buying the ticket. I felt that this had gone on too long, and that's why the other day I announced that, and I said the reason I was doing it, telling that she got on the 6:35 a.m. to San Ysidro, was because it was time for LAPD to come out with a press conference, and they finally did it that afternoon. But there's a lot more to this story, but it's her. I've seen other angles of this shot, and for whatever reason, the family doesn't want to accept it. But I think it's important to remember that all these resources have been poured in and everything. Hannah did not request it. She was already in Mexico by the time this started, and she did not request any of this. I understand why the family's searching for her, but there's also a lot that they've known for a while that they have not disclosed, such as the Greyhound, her being at the Greyhound station.
See, she is there. I can try to figure out if you can see that, Scott Fisher. Is that her retrieving her bag in a different outfit, or is that her buying her bus ticket? This
is her I worked with Greyhound. This is Greyhound station at Union Station in Los Angeles, and she used her passport as ID. When they asked her for her phone number, she said she no longer had a phone.
It is determined that Hannah's phone last pinged around 4 p.m. Monday, November 11th at LAX with no new activity. The phone has not been found. The family obtained surveillance footage showing Hannah Kobayashi around the Metro train station near Crypto.com Arena. In that video, she appears to be accompanied by someone. The family posts on social media that the video shows Hannah is not alone and, quote, does not appear to be in good condition.
Straight back out to Steve Fisher joining us, missing persons private investigator, search and rescue expert, and owner of searchinvestigations.org. Steve, let me understand. You're saying that you looked at the Greyhound bus photo that we were just showing, and that you have determined she took the Metro. I mean, this sounds like a seasoned traveler. Hey guys, this is from Fox 11. A seasoned traveler that knows how to catch the Metro at LAX, take the Metro, which is, like a subway or a rapid transit, all the way to Union Station. There, she buys a one-way ticket, no plan to come back, one-way ticket to San Ysidro. And when you get off at San Ysidro, you are directly on the path to go across the border. It's a tunnel, correct?
Yes, you're steps away from it. Yeah, if you're going to San Ysidro, you're crossing the border, most likely. I mean, there's no other reason to go. So I think it was very much planned. I think the reason that people are so confused is we've gotten some misinformation, like what they just mentioned about the 11th, about them having surveillance of her getting off at Crypto.com and not looking well. They've refused to show that footage the family has to anybody, including those of us that were searching. And then we find out just hours later at 6 a.m. on the 12th, she shows up at Union Station looking healthy, hair's washed, she's wearing clean clothes. She's got her suitcase with her. So, we were told she was drugged and this person was manipulating her. So I think there's, a lot of misinformation going around.
Okay, I need you to be blunt, Steve Fisher. If you come on Crime Stories,
sure,
we don't partake in niceties. When you say misinformation, just call it what it is. What are you talking about? What misinformation? Because if I saw my husband, my daughter, my son wandering around LA with a bag, showing up at Union Station, showing up at Crypto Arena, wandering through the Grove, sending me odd texts about how she's being controlled and someone's taken all her money. I would be really worried that someone was either controlling her, that had some sort of a mental breakdown, that someone had given them drugs. But you're telling me it's misinformation.
Well, what's being put out. There's some misinformation. I think the family knows. Listen, she's in a fragile mental state for sure. However, the family knows a lot of things that they're not disclosing, and they're making it sound like this is a scenario where she's being trafficked and everything. That was the narrative being pushed. In fact, when I came out and said, a couple of weeks ago, I said, this is not the case. This is a voluntary missing. I got a voicemail from the family saying, we want to control the narrative. Do not put this information out there. That's just not the way these should run. These should be honest information that's put out there for those that are searching, and if you're going to involve the public. And that's not the case. In this, she, for whatever reason, made a decision that she wanted to do her own thing and get away. And listen, do I think she needs to be found in her mental health check? Absolutely. But I don't think there should be this manhunt for her that the family is continuing with. She is estranged from several family members.
Steve Fisher, what about the family saying that she was spotted with a male that they didn't recognize, and that they're worried about that scenario?
Yeah, so she was with a male. Again, they said they did not know who this male was. But then when I talked to places around Crypto.com Arena, they told me that the family members were coming in and showing that male's social media and asking if they had seen him. So they knew who he was, just like LAPD said they know who he is. Again, I think, it was to keep people involved in the search. Right. And just to clarify, when I said fragile state of mind, what I mean is she's going through a lot. You're telling me something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going through a lot trying to find her, much less her family. Right. But wait a minute. Wait. We were led to believe that an unknown man was kind of tailing her, possibly even controlling her. Let me digest what you just said. Because now, aside from being upset and worried about this woman, now I'm getting angry. And I'll tell you why. I have worked so many missing people cases, so many rape cases, murder cases, molestation cases, horrible, horrible cases that need attention. You're telling me that this misinformation, that's certainly putting perfume on a pig, isn't it? That the family
I never heard of that
went with the unknown male's picture and said, have you seen this guy? They know who the guy was that was with her in the picture?
You should be angry. I'm angry. There's a lot of wasted time in this. Yes.
Is that
they
a
were
yes?
showing his social. Yes, they were showing his social media to places around town asking if they had seen him. LAPD, basically alluded to that, how they knew who he was right away. The family has known a lot of this.
So was all this an attempt to get to this guy? It's not her ex-boyfriend. He's long gone. So do we know who this guy is? Is he a boyfriend? Is he somebody she met online?
He's literally just somebody that she met in town. He wasn't the big bad guy we were told that she was drugged, for certain was drugged, and he was controlling her. It's just not true.
Do you know, much less me and our staff, how many hours we have spent on the phone, pouring through social media, trying to investigate our contacts out in LA, beating the street, trying to find things out. And all along, she was with some guy that she met, in the Grove? Have they been chumming around? What, did she use a shower and blow dryer? What? Yes,
basically. And this guy is just somebody that she met. He's not a player in this whole thing. It's a different story than we thought. And I get you, everybody's put this time into it. And that's why I was sitting on this information when I found out about from Greyhound. I was like, I'm just going to ahead and release it because to force LAPD's hand. I don't know why LAPD did not come out earlier than they did and say what was going on, but it was time for this to happen. And there's a reason that the whole family left town a week before this came down too.
What do you mean by that? There's a reason the family left town?
I think they knew. Listen, they knew she had been to the Greyhound station and they knew she had left town. I'm not saying they knew about that she went into Mexico, because I think LAPD did hold that back, but they knew she was in town, and that's when the aunt and everybody left town, a week and a half ago. and the search stopped.
Where is a Hawaiian beauty, Hannah Kobayashi, seemingly vanishing at LAX, the LA airport? That is not at all what happened, based on what we are learning. Have we all been dragged along on a merry wild goose chase? Take a listen to what Chief Jim McDonald, LAPD, said.
My ask would be to anybody considering doing this, think about the people that you're leaving behind, your loved ones who are going to be worried sick about you, the number of people, including law enforcement and other partners who are going to be looking for you, which then potentially takes them away from other work that is also critically important. So there's a lot other than somebody just deciding that they want to leave and disconnect. Consider those that are behind you and those that will be impacted by your actions.
Is Chief McDonald referring specifically to Hannah Kobayashi's father? That's from our friends at KITV, but listen to this.
Ryan Kobayashi, the estranged father of Hannah Kobayashi, arrives in Los Angeles to join the search for his daughter.
After 11 days of searching, Ryan Kobayashi is found dead around 4 a.m. near a parking structure at LAX. The Los Angeles medical examiner says the cause of death is multiple blunt force trauma injuries. The family issues a statement expressing grief and asking for the public to focus on the search for Hannah Kobayashi.
Alexis Tereszczuk, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. What happened to her father, Ryan?
So he came here. He was looking for his daughter for 11 days. He went to like large groups. He held up a sign. He went like knocking door to door down in Skid Row of Los Angeles, which is not a nice part of town, desperately looking for her. Then he goes to a parking deck near LAX and he jumped off the roof, fell to his death. And now that we know, this is 12 days after she had already left the country.
Okay, that just breaks my heart because she has Alexis disconnected from, quote, modern connectivity. So she may not have even known her father was there looking for her. And she was already on her merry way to Mexico before her father committed suicide.
Exactly. While he was here looking for her, she was already in Mexico, and there's been no activity from her phone, I believe. And so she may not have heard, may not be on the news down there. She may not be, she's young. She may not even be watching the news. And so she really may not even know this. And it seems that her family did not let anybody know that she was out of town at that time, or out of the country, sorry.
And Alexis, are you telling me she was estranged from her father?
She was, for sure, yes. He said that. He said, I regret that we were so estranged and that we had such a bad relationship, but now that she's missing, I'm here now looking for her. So we brokenhearted, thinking something bad has happened in Los Angeles, not out of the realm of possibility. A lot of bad things happen. And so he came here looking for her, and then less than 2 weeks later, jumps off the roof of a building and kills himself.
Dr. Jeff Kalashevsky joining me, forensic psychologist. Dr. Jeff, I'm just trying to imagine what the dad went through, being estranged for a period of time and then learning your daughter's missing. And he flies all the way, I believe, from Hawaii to LA and starts a one-man search team going all over the city, even the worst parts of the city, imagining the worst all this time about his daughter, thinking about all the time they had lost from being estranged, and then realizing that he would never see her again. She's totally lost, probably dead, and commits suicide. That's a heartbreaking story. I mean, all I can think about is my own father. Dr. Jeff, I remember on Dancing with the Stars, the very first night I was about to be thrown off. I somehow managed to cling on till the bitter end. But as I was standing there in jeopardy, I looked across the dance floor and I saw one face. My dad, and he was so upset. I thought he was going to have a heart attack because he was upset for me. He thought I was going to be broken up, which I would not have been. But he looked so upset. I can't imagine this father trying to make up for lost time, trying to find his daughter, and coming to the realization that she was most likely dead and killing himself.
When the private investigator mentioned that there's some odd family dynamics and involvement in this case, I start to wonder, the estranged father, what information was he being provided by the family that sort of increased his despair and put him in a state of mind where he felt the only way out of this agony was to take his own life.
Well, it's interesting because the family kind of, in an article that I read, had allegedly kind of flipped it on conspiracy theorists and like YouTubers, people talking about like they think maybe it was a cult or this or that. They kind of flipped it. They said Skid Row because he was out there searching in Skid Row, but they also kind of flipped it on like, oh, well, it was these online people that were saying this and saying that might have driven him to that, state of mind that he was in on top of being in Skid Row. But, as a family too, pushed, it felt like it was trafficking or whatever. And I think it's like a tough position because I try to think, and I've seen other stories where people do that. Like they know it's not something, but they push it anyway, because if it's not that particular story or narrative, then they feel like nobody's going to care. So it has to be trafficking, because if not, then the momentum is gone, There was a story I covered in Florida years ago about a girl that ran away. She was like a teenager, and the mother was creating a whole uproar online, snapping, going off on people, going off on the YouTubers covering it. And I had somehow, I think I got into it with her a little bit, or I made a video or something, and I was just like, she's doing all this and treating all those people like that and shit. And then a mutual friend of the father that watches me got in contact with me, and like I spoke to the guy, and he was like, yo, we know where she's at. She's safe. She wanted to leave because she didn't want to be with her mother. The mother and the father were like separated. And the mother in the middle of all that was like throwing this guy under the bus and like just kind of shitting on the guy and all that stuff. But he was like, no, she's like that, whatever. It's going to be fine. And everything worked out, But I think Hannah seems like she got herself caught up in some crazy situation. Possibly, if this is true, I don't know what it is. This whole thing of this marriage stuff that they're talking about, the green card thing. Maybe things got too far, and now the father, did what he did. So things have really gotten to another level, right, of seriousness. If she even knows it, if she's seen it, I don't know if, like they said, if she even knows the story, maybe she's completely turned off from her online social media.
What about it, Steve Fisher? You have personally investigated Hannah Kobayashi's disappearance. You mentioned earlier, and now I'm following up on it, that she was estranged from several members of her family. Could you explain what you mean by that?
Well, it's simply that. I mean, she did not have a relationship with her father. There was tension with other family members. So, I mean, this all kind of makes sense.
Tension over what? Tension over what?
Well, I don't know the exact details. I didn't get into that, what those dynamics were, like what the actual triggers were. However, it was evident. And, I have talked to people that are close with her on the island, friends and whatnot. And, this is not a secret. In fact, I heard her father telling people that he was using this as an opportunity to get back in her life. I actually suggested to the family, I didn't think it was a good idea for him to be a press point person, could drive her further away. Now, of course, she's already in Mexico. We know now by the time this is happening, but there's a lot more to the story. I do believe there's going to be a lot more that comes out.
The LAPD say they have no plans to release the surveillance video footage showing Hannah Kobayashi crossing the U.S.-Mexico border due to privacy concerns. The public information officer for the LAPD says they will not release the tape because Kobayashi is a private citizen and has not committed a crime. LAPD Chief Jim McConnell says Kobayashi has, quote, a right to her privacy.
I mean, yeah, what are you going to do? Force an adult, grown adult? I do question her mental health, but at the same time, like, what are you going to do? That's just wild, dude.
If your business needs a new application,
I've trimmed the less you've got.
Looking for excitement?
Everyone has on.
Investigations.org. Have you seen the Tijuana video, or have you seen the video of her leaving San Ysidro and heading across the tunnel?
I've not seen that footage, no. I'm only aware of her getting on the Greyhound at Union Station.
Okay, and if she had gotten off somewhere between here and there would be video of that at a bus station.
There's definitely video of her. There's video at San Ysidro Station, and absolutely Customs and Border Patrol has, facial recognition cameras and everything as you're entering. And listen, there's been sightings of her down south of Tijuana as well.
What about that, Scott Eicher, founding member, FBI Cellular Analysis Survey Team? Tell me about the face recognition that is used at the border. And I know you have to show your passport when you enter our country, but when you are leaving, you also have to show it.
Agreed. And that's part of the border security that we do have. And it's important to be able to identify the people coming in and out. Sounds like pretty good information that she actually went into Mexico. And, if she's by herself, then she's by herself. When we start taking all this together, it sure does sound like we were kind of led in the wrong direction.
Man, you're not kidding. With a ring through our noses. Steve Fisher, you keep alluding to more is going to come out. Well, how about right now? Can it come out right now? What are you talking about?
No, I mean, there is more to the story. It's not for me to discuss because I don't have 100% proof of it. So I wouldn't want to put something out there and it'd be wrong. But listen, I'm confident there's more will come out.
Okay, that's not really helping me, but
I know,
let me I'll give you.
And I understand he has to kind of like protect himself, legally and everything else. But he literally posted the screenshot of conversation with the family, and I thought the family said, "Oh, we don't know who he is." I thought I could be wrong, could be mistaken. Oh, we don't know who that is. And then you see messages here, DMs. I don't know if is this text message. I don't know if that's text or like social media. It looks like text message. Really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate.
A few moments to think about what you're saying. To high-profile lawyer joining us out of Palm Beach, Gregory Morse, author of The Untested on Amazon. Gregory, can I talk to you about potential criminal charges? Because as of right now, I don't see any. Now, we have been comparing this to, for instance, the disappearance of supermom Sherry Papini, who disappeared. Her husband didn't realize she was gone until the children were not home, after school when he got home. Her cell phone was found on the side of the road as if it had been yanked from her. Turns out she just took a powder and was shacked up with her ex-boyfriend. She went so far as to beat herself, starve herself, and even brand herself with a hot curling iron to make it look as if she had been kidnapped. She blamed it on Hispanic women. Okay. She lied to police, right? That makes her different from Hannah Kobayashi. Then we've got the so-called runaway bride, Jennifer Wilbanks. That's a Georgia case. In that case, it was the night before a big society wedding, and she gets kidnapped. She also blamed some Hispanic men in that case and claimed she had been abducted. She lied about it. The last time I had eyes on her, she was cutting grass as part of community service. All right. Then we've got Carly Russell, beautiful girl.
Carly Russell.
Look at her, Alabama. She fakes her disappearance and even goes so far as to claim she's trying to rescue a tot boy who was wandering along the side of a busy interstate. And then she goes missing. Well, turns out she was shacked up in a hotel ordering room service while we were desperately trying to find her. She since came clean, has apologized, has taken responsibility, is trying to make something good out of her life. But she lied. Hannah Kobayashi has not lied to anybody. She just left.
I disagree with you. This needs to be changed from a missing persons report to a searching for a criminal suspect. And if Hannah Kobayashi was smart, she would call my law firm and seek counsel right away. This girl's father is dead. He killed himself. Knowing anything about Okinawans, which I believe her father was, this is an honorable culture. It is foreseeable that he would take this so heavy. And if his daughter knew that and set this course in action that led to his death, I think there's a chance that the police can be searching for or looking into this for a murder to charge.
What do you guys think? Is that a reach or possible? 2 students shot by an adult. Is that the school shooting? I think the shooter is dead. I did hear something about that. Is that a school shooting? There's also something else that I'm seeing, house fire going on right now. Do you guys think that's a reach? I don't know. That might be a little tough to pull off. It's kind of interesting thought, though, that maybe it should be looked into as a criminal investigation.
You were a prosecutor, Nancy, and if you know from maybe about a decade ago, I think it was Suffolk County, New York, that started charging murder 2 for DUI manslaughters. Most places that doesn't matter anymore because they're the same type of sentence usually. So this is something that is unique, but those texts that were sent claiming she was lost her money and kidnapped, this directed a story. That's her lying. Very different than the story that you did on the guy who went to Uzbekistan. He didn't contact the police until recently. He should have watched her show because now he's made some statements that could get him charged with a crime. But initially he didn't. So Hannah Kobayashi is your typical, it seems to me from what I've read. She doesn't have a real job. She's 30 years old. She's floundering in life and set on this course of motion. Maybe taken advantage of by a cult. Sure, that is definitely seems like what this is. But her father is dead, and she sent information.
I have never heard, and I'm racking my memory, a worse distortion of the criminal code in my life. There is no way that this girl, and I don't care if she's unemployed, I don't care if she's a deadbeat mooching off her family, I don't know if she is or not. But there is no way that she could have foreseen her father, with whom she hasn't spoken to in a long period of time, is going to fly to LA. She'd have to be a clairvoyant to figure out he's going to fly to LA, look for her, and then jump off a parking deck roof. That's crazy talk. Okay? I don't know if you're just trying to get a client. I don't think you're that hard up. But there's no way there's a murder 2 charge in this. No, cut his mic right now because I'm not going to be responsible for disseminating falsities regarding the law. If you can put him up, I'd like to see him react to what I'm saying. But this woman is not going to be charged with murder 2. She left.
She wants to make sure she gets the reaction on camera. Yeah, I agree. I agree with most of the chat too. It's a reach because you would have to like prove that she knew that this would cause him to do that, and it's way too much. It's way too much. You know what I'm saying? If somebody goes. It's just really different. I remember there was this kid that was extorted by some scammers in another country, and they said, we're going to post your video if you don't. I don't know what they wanted, money or something. The kid ended up offing himself. They got charged. It's way different than something like this kind of situation.
Left on her own, and you say she lied. Yeah, she lied to her mother. If that's a crime, I bet I could prosecute you, Greg Moore. She never lied to your mother. BS. She did not lie to police. She's no Sherry Papini. She's no Jennifer Wilbanks. She's no Borgwart. That's the man you're talking about that left his wife and family for some Uzbeki woman. And she's no Carly Russell. No, it's not going to happen.
Days of searching the streets of Los Angeles and passing out flyers have exhausted family and friends, but they still push forward in the search for Hannah Kobayashi.
But a shocking twist just might crack the case open. Hannah Kobayashi spotted crossing the Mexico border.
At this hour, the family is asking LAPD and others to continue the search for Hannah Kobayashi. To Steve Fisher, who has been part of the investigation, local law enforcement is saying no way, and they're dropping this like a hot potato. And they say that absolutely is her in Tijuana, case closed.
Correct. And she should be flagged at immigration when she comes back across. And that's where they're going to talk to her and evaluate her. But for the family to be pushing this private search to continue, and that's really putting people in harm's way. Tijuana, going through that border, is not a place to be going and looking and snooping around. You don't have any right, you don't have your rights as an American citizen over there. It's going to get somebody hurt. What they need to do is they need to have a investigator that can find her quickly and a physician on call that can evaluate her and limit it to that. But this should not be public anymore, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to get somebody hurt, and it's going to drive her further into isolation.
Steve, it's my understanding that Hannah Kobayashi's aunt, Lori Pigeon is saying that she is still concerned about Hannah's safety, and that concern has not lessened since she discovered Hannah has crossed the border into Mexico. In fact, she's even more worried that she is now in a location with which she is not familiar.
I agree. Listen, it's not the safest place in the world, that's for sure. I mean, my brother happens to live down there. There is an expat community. However, she's doing this publicly now. I understand the part when they thought she was in Los Angeles, but now she's in a different country. I think it's got to be very sensitive. It needs to be done with qualified professionals and call off the public search for it. It's like there's a bounty on her almost, and there's people are, crossing the border now, going and looking for her. I just think it's a recipe for disaster. And it also...
Well, I would look for my family too, even if they voluntarily disassociated, because I would be so worried about them. But what about the private detective and retired FBI Tom Simon, who says he wants LAPD to release the Customs and Border Protection video to make sure that's really her?
I don't know what to say besides it's her. I mean, I have seen, listen, that's her. That's all I can say on it. But, when you say that about the family is not here looking for her. They're asking others to do it, but they're in Hawaii and the aunts in Palm Springs. They're not on the ground searching.
So bottom line, we've all been taken down a rabbit hole. Tens of thousands of dollars have been spent looking for a woman that wanted to unplug her cell phone. Okay. As of right now, I don't see a crime. I'm the last person that would say that. But I don't see a crime in her decision to take off. Nancy Grace.
Yeah, who knows what she's running from, man. I like SF too. Buller, thank you for the 5, man. Appreciate your support. So I love SF Investigate. I like him too. Sometimes I get mad at him. I think because he's just blunt and he's just kind of telling it like it is, and some people don't want to hear that, and maybe they expect him to continue to go on with whatever he's being told or the narrative, But I know some people don't like him and stuff. I think that kind of comes with the territory sometimes, with the internet and stuff. Legally, the family can't say anything until they have actual proof to release anything. This SF Investigates guy is literally mad because Kobayashi family decided not to hire him. He does a lot of voluntary work. I don't know that he really cares. I mean, not that like that. Like, they should continue to search in Mexico because there could be a bigger operation. I know everybody wants to think every time somebody goes missing, it's this huge scale operation. I know that stuff's happens, but it's not every single case. A lot of these cases is just kids sometimes running away. Some of them, some of these. I mean, of course, you want to check and verify, but this is multiple sightings of this chick, multiple times, literally pulling out her passport, going here, going there. There's people sending her Venmo money to party. Yeah, have a good time. My voice is fucked up. I'm sorry. For like RFK Jr. Can't even talk. Nick at Nights. Oh, well, so there's... Damn, man. I guess there's drama with them too. And I don't understand what's going on. The Nick at Night situation and Dog the Bounty Hunter and Sebastian Rogers. And because SF Investigates posted this missing child. I mean, I haven't really talked about this in a while. Every now and then, maybe I'll mention it, but I haven't really like covered this. But this was kind of crazy. The situation is laughable if it weren't so tragic, and it's all at the expense of a missing 15-year-old. At night, Nick and the Dog Bounty Hunter seems to be fabricating stories, allegedly, just as they did with the injunction that they never made it to court and so-called First Amendment complaint. Anyway, basically, oh yeah, and there's that crazy, who the father has like a membership now or something. It's $80 membership tier. Bro, is it the father? Well, anyway, so they made this post, right? And they posted them at night, Private Intelligence. They made a post December 3rd, yesterday. The team is dedicated to finding answers, and we've made some recent progress. updates about new satellite images. On December 2nd, 2024, thanks to our work with experts in the field, At Night received very clear satellite photos from our friends at Albedo Technology. And they're like this fancy, supposedly provide imaging from space pictures. They can spot cars and objects and people clearly. They see patterns and how things move and operate or happen. And so you're not going to believe this. The company replies, because he tagged them back. The company replies back to Nick and says, "We're glad y'all are seeing positive progress on Sebastian Rogers while we currently don't have any satellites in orbit." Bro, I saw that and I was like, what? I'm like, what? Our first launches in about 3 months. So they don't even have any satellites in space right now. And over here, it's like, oh, we received very clear satellite photos. What? So that looks bad. I don't know if he's addressed it yet. I don't know what's going on. It's really unfortunate, to see this happening. Crazy shit. That's why I kind of like stayed away from this. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, stay away, but this kid's missing. And this is kind of turned to a Summer Wells, I guess, case. Really weird. I don't know, man. Maybe they can clarify. Maybe they can find out. So for tonight, listen, I hope that we get an update tonight because I want to come back in a while. I want to cover this New York situation. And there's people that have been pointing the finger at the wife. People think the wife did it or had a hitman or something like that. I don't know. And there's a lot of people shitting on this Brian Thompson, guys. I guess some people have had these stories about insurance and medical health. And their family has died. And, oh, we can't approve your stuff for your treatment. So good luck. So a couple people have felt very personal about like this guy. And they're just like, basically they're saying like, F him. I don't wish death on people, but there's a lot of comments. I'm like, holy crap. They're just like, some people are just like, they don't give a shit. They don't feel no sympathy. I don't know. Still on the loose. They haven't caught him. They're supposed to be having this Christmas light show or something tonight in New York too. So, I don't know what this guy's doing. Has he dyed his hair? Get the contacts. Did he put color in his contacts? Probably change his clothes a couple of times. Is he a professional hitman or is he not? I've seen a lot of talk about that. The shooter. That's why I like him from the Cavalcante case, but I'm not sure. And I haven't been following the story detail to detail, so I don't want to say, because I could probably just text the guy and ask him what's going on. I could call. I don't want to say too much without looking into it myself, but yeah, that definitely didn't look good when I saw that the other day. Oh, infamous. What dad has 501(c)(3). Something called Roger Homestead. You think he's out of the state? He probably could be. It doesn't take much to get out of there, I guess. And it's probably so crowded and stuff. That's what I was wondering. Did this guy like leave the New York shooter, or is he just kind of hiding in plain sight and waiting for things to die down? And there's that lady stuck in the sinkhole too. You see that sinkhole lady in PA? Sinkhole. Oh man. So this article that just came out 33 minutes ago. Because earlier today I thought there was like maybe some potential good news that maybe they'll find her. Maybe they'll find her alive. But this article from AP, the search for a woman who is believed to have fallen into a sinkhole in western Pennsylvania has become a recovery effort after 2 treacherous days of digging through mud and rock. No signs of life. Wow. So the story with that, if you haven't heard, the lady basically, her cat went missing. She's 64 years old, Elizabeth Pollard. And so she left her granddaughter in the car and I guess went to go check on her cat. And again, there's this huge sinkhole. Let me see if I show you a picture if you haven't seen it. Okay. Oh, I got to convert it. I thought I converted it already. There's this huge sinkhole and they believe she fell in this thing. Crazy way to go out. And I was just wondering, like, I wonder if she just like walked to the edge or something, thinking she could peer in, and then it gave away. So now they're officially saying it's just like a recovery effort. And that's even if you recover, because I've heard of stories, I think that sometimes they don't even find the body. Let me see.
A full-time job. They get off of work. They come here to take care of their stuff. They're handling every other call that came in. We had, I believe, 2 fires, one that was at a house yesterday. So like all this is happening and they're still out here busting their butts because that's what they do. I mean, that's how our people are act. The Urban Search and Rescue Group came out with more equipment.
You know what, Giselle said, do you think the cat fell in it? I want to confirm that because you know what? I thought they said was that the cat was okay. Anybody know the status on the cat? Cat. I'm going to have to confirm that. I thought I read somewhere that the cat.
Than I've ever seen a search and rescue group have. Those guys were well trained, and what a group of outstanding individuals. They were down, getting lowered down into that hole that was created with the channels, and literally one group after the next of using water and suction, and they would come out of there head to toe covered in mud, exhausted, and while they're getting pulled up, the next group's getting dropped in, and there was one after the next until they cycled through their groups, and then your butt was back in there, and you were back in there slaving away at trying to get all that stuff out of there and just exacerbating themselves to exhaustion. And then they could have moved a mountain if they had even. That's how many.
And it said that at one point Pollard had 10 cats. She had a lot of pets.
People that were here, and that's how hard they were working. It was rather impressive.
Are you just?
This article says it's not clear what happened to Pepper, the name of the cat, but.
Listening in there to authorities talking about this incident there that took place as the search continued, but a dire situation in Unity Township, Pennsylvania, on the western portion of the state, just outside of Pittsburgh as well. We're following it very closely, but a potentially sad story as a grandmother looking for her lost cat apparently fell into a sinkhole that had recently opened above an abandoned western Pennsylvania coal mine. Bright lights illuminated snow flurries and various equipment at the site while crews worked above ground from Tuesday into Wednesday. You can just see the size of this sinkhole that leads into a mine. They're talking about the precarious nature of the ground below them inside of this mine, as plenty different groups, organizations working to try to find this grandmother there in this area. All right, I'm Andy Mack here on Live Now from Fox. We're going to be back after this.
Yeah. So that was a little update on that. All right. So yeah, I hope we get an update tonight. I have like a few, maybe 2 or 3 things that we could go over if they give us another update on the killer that's loose in New York. And I don't know, man. I don't know. That's the big question. Professional or not professional? Somebody disgruntled or not? I thought the way the guy was so cold about it. I mean, he just walked up in front of a witness, didn't care. He had tunnel vision. Just walked up and popped him multiple times. And some people had said the way he cleared his gun when it was jammed. He was very calm, not stressed out. Most of your grannies be like this. I wouldn't do it, but I know there's a lot of animal lovers that would probably, they would put their life on the line. I couldn't see myself doing that. Not like that. The sinkhole thing, man, it's like sinkhole. How? Oh, sinkhole.
Here, try these.
What I found scary is the ones that are like, people are sleeping in their house and just out of nowhere, boom, like swallows them up. No injuries after United flight causes fire. Logan Airport. Chaos.
A plane at Logan Airport experienced some engine trouble. Massport telling us that a United Airlines flight, it had engine issues as it was taxiing on the runway. That issue apparently caused a grass fire to ignite behind the plane as it moved down the tarmac. So the plane itself didn't catch fire. Luckily, crews able to put that grass fire out too. Massport says the...
Okay, let's do one more thing. I wanted to react to this. I've been having ideas in my head though lately what I should do on the other channels for like reaction videos plus this stuff, but there was this video I saw the other day, and oh, and Wilson, if you could send me the link, maybe that's, I don't know if that was what I was supposed to see. You can send me the link. There was this badass kid, I think in Walmart the other day. Damn, I'm trying to find it. All right, let me just type kid in Walmart. Let's try that. Well, this was kind of crazy too, though. But kid in Walmart. Saudi billionaire is offering Mike Tyson $700 million if he knocks out Jake Paul in a rematch. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It wasn't even close. Leave it alone. I don't want to see that shit. Walmart. Okay. Is this the one? This is the one. Watch as this child destroys a Walmart, and as a white woman steps in to restrain the staff and other customers from restraining her as she wreaks havoc. Let's see. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. Where's her parents at? Bro, wilding out. Yeah, lock her up. Wow. Back in the day, my mother would have beat my ass for doing this. Oh my God. Yoked. Oh my God. Is that the mother? Oh, so nobody knows where the mother's at. Just abandon this kid. Shoot, double. Oh my God. Yo. Oh, she threw the glass.
Don't y'all do that to a little girl. Y'all don't know what she's supposed to do.
What is he doing? He's just stopping her from throwing the glass. Wow. Oh, so what's the story with that? That lady would take a knife to the heart. So I don't know what happened. Let me see if there's a kind of news article. Walmart kid goes crazy. There we go. There's an art. Brat trashes Walmart. Okay, I like the title already. Brat trashes Walmart as adults make excuses for her in the wild video. You don't know what she's going through. Okay. An ill-mannered girl is going viral after trashing a Walmart, including smashing multiple glass bottles in a wild caught-on-camera spectacle viewed millions of times. The unsupervised brat's trail of destruction spanned numerous display cases. I mean, there's definitely something got to be wrong with the parents or the mother or whatever. For sure, I'd be what's going on at home. This is kind of wow. $30 ago, that girl would have been dragged by her parents to the nearest adult and whooped by the parents. I'm not into corporal punishment, but yeah, this shit would not fly, bro. Acting out like that. And nobody knows the parents. All right. Well, I guess that's it for now. If we get a little update later, it's still early. 6:30 is still early. I'm going to be keeping an eye out to see if we get an update from the NYPD and see if they catch this person. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.